ladies. How are y'all doing today? We're so glad to have you at the Servant and Leadership Conference. You took time out of your busy schedules to come and see us here at Calvary Baptist Church. And we're just thrilled to see you all. Your bright and shiny faces and your smiles and the colors that you're wearing. We were just discussing colors and bringing out our tans and my lack of tan, because that's important too. So yeah, come on in. So glad to see you all. Thank you for coming. So my name's Kim Tanner. I love attending Calvary Baptist Church. I'll give you a little information about me. My voice probably gives me away, but I'm not from these parts. I am originally from Michigan. Woohoo! And so born and raised in Michigan, lived there for 42 years, and my career brought us to Memphis. And so I work in senior living. We'll probably talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. But the job I had at the time, I was an executive director in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And the company I was working for said, we're going to build a brand new retirement community in Collierville, Tennessee. And I was like, where's Collierville, Tennessee? Never heard of that before. And so we did a little research. I called my husband at home, and he texted back, 2.5 inches of snow a year, let's go. And so I went ahead and threw my hat in the ring, and the company chose me to come to Collierville, Tennessee, and be the executive director of a brand new building. So I came, we came during COVID, and that was a fun time for us all, right? Especially in senior living, we had the most fragile population that we were trying to take care of and make sure that we kept them as healthy as possible. And so I had an opportunity to come and serve seniors in that way. And looking for a church when so many churches went online was tough. But we went to the pool store, because for the first time we were pool owners in Collierville. And there was this gentleman there who says, have you found a church yet? And I thought, okay, in the Midwest, it's not normal to ask somebody where they go to church. Here in the Bible Belt, it's completely acceptable and very common for us to ask, what church do you attend? Because they probably have an answer instead of looking at you with a blank stare. But I had just come from Hobby Lobby. Who doesn't love Hobby Lobby? Right? Woo! And I was humming. Anyone that knows me knows if you heard me coming, I was likely humming or talking, because that's not quiet either. And we came, and I happened to be humming the hymn that we had heard at Hobby Lobby. And he says, you should come to my brother's church. And I'm like, yeah? And he says, you should totally come. And you should sing in the choir, too. So just an invitation from the pool store in Collierville, Tennessee, brought us into the doors. We heard the choir singing for the first time, and I was sitting right about where Jacqueline is, and I'm like, I want to sing in that choir so bad. And so within a few weeks, we joined the church. We were thrilled to partner with Brother Hooker's ministry, and we just looked for opportunities. Wherever the Lord calls you in life, whether it was a planned or not planned move, He wants you to be serving. And that's time when you're putting other people in front of yourself. You will never be sorry that you took the time to serve someone else. More often than not, when you go in with a spirit of being a servant to someone else, you come out better than when you stepped in that door. It's huge. So I'd love to talk about that with y'all today. The servant leadership concept has done a lot for me as far as my career. It's done so much for me with my friendships, with raising our children who are now adults. And so I just love to chat with you about that for a few minutes. So I don't know all of you. I wish I did. Like when y'all come in, I'm like, ooh, she looks cool. And she looks cool too. And she looks like maybe she could use a friend. And I just want to meet everybody. But I don't know if we'll have time for that or not. But no, you got a friendly face in Kim. I'm happy to know you. I'd love to get to know you more. If you want to spend some time with a kooky old lady, happy to hang out with you. But I'm curious, because in a room like this, we typically have folks that have all sorts of different abilities and things that God has given you. Before you were ever created, He had a plan specifically for you ladies. So I'm curious, how many in this room are my creatives? You have so many ideas and you love making things look pretty. Raise your hand. Ooh, where's my creatives? Okay. Yeah. All right, see your hands. All right. where's my organizers? Nothing makes you happier than seeing everything put away, color coordinated, neat and tidy. And some of my organizers can't do work until it's right? Like, it's got to be in its place first. All right, where's my planners? Somebody mentions that they want pizza, and everyone in the room turns and looks at you. Because you grab a pen and a piece of paper, you figure out what is needed on the pizza, how many pizzas are needed, and approximately the right amount of time that you need to call the pizza store and have it ready to be picked up. That's my planners. Where are you? Okay? Yep. All right. Where are my dreamers? You can close your eyes and see in your mind the perfect place. You know exactly what the weather is going to look like in that place. And you sigh when you go to your happy place in your mind. Where's my dreamers? Okay, love my dreamers. How about my adventure seekers? Someone whispers the word road trip, and like in 2 minutes flat, you've got your bag packed, and you're like, let's go, come on. My adventurers. And lastly, where's my people sitting in the room that are like, what are you even talking about? Why don't you just get to the lesson? Why are you asking so many questions? I thought for sure I'd have at least one analytical, like, would you get to the point already, lady? Let's go. But we don't, so maybe we save that for the guys' room, which is cool too. Did anyone get a chance to see a space that just kind of shouted you? Did anyone say, well, only a little bit of that's true for me, but there's a little bit here and a little bit there, right? You found more spaces than one. God made you so individual that you're not anything like the person sitting next to you. I like to think about Mary and Martha for a minute. When I first heard the story of Mary and Martha, I was a little annoyed. Anybody else in this room an oldest daughter? Anybody else in this room have oldest daughter tendencies? We call it management. We are management material is what we are. We see a problem and we fix the problem. And the problem is our younger siblings that need to get in line right now so we can get things done, right? Let's get it done. Yes. We have things under control. It actually does allow us to step into roles like an executive director in senior living and gives you an opportunity to see from 10,000 feet exactly what needs to be done and how to get something finished. But what a boring world if every single one of us had just raised our hands. We can't be the same. We need to be something different. So when I first heard the story of Mary and Martha, I was like, Mary did the right thing, right? Like Jesus was basically saying that Mary was right. He didn't say that. Jesus also didn't say, Martha, you're right. But do you know, dreamers, what would happen if you were in charge of this today? You would have had so many thoughts about what the perfect day would look like and what the weather should look like, and probably some really cool maybe like takeaways that people could have. But would you have missed the organization piece and the conversations and all the meetings that needed to be had to get it done? It doesn't mean that Mary was wrong. It just meant that she had different gifts. And then you have Martha. That woman, she planned for a crowd, and she was cooking for a crowd. She was cleaning her home for her crowd. They wouldn't have eaten had Martha not been in charge. You can't sit in front of Jesus and hear what he has to say and cook at the same time. Both things needed to happen. So there are skills in Mary's, and there are skills in Martha's. And we need to find the time and the place that's appropriate for both. We also need to fight the chance that we have to stay in a box. Can a Mary become a Martha? If you're the only lady in church who's going to get something done, you can be a Martha. You might need a plan. You might need every single detail written down so you don't forget something, but you can do it. Can a Martha take a minute and sit at the feet of Jesus and bask in the worship and get her cup filled back up again because she's been doing for too long? Yes, she can, and that's okay too. So when you're looking and you're considering all the different things that God has given, I think it's really important to realize that all the women that God has given us in Scripture, they worked, they made a name for themselves. I grew up in church. I grew up sitting next to people that thought women should be quiet, no matter where they went. They should be turning and looking at their husbands and being like, what does he mean by that? And I go, no, it's not. That's not true at all. Jesus loved his mother. He provided for her. He planned for her. On the cross, he asked that she was taken care of. We are very special as women. And Jesus had a special place in his heart. He has a very special place for the work that we do. And there's a place for us to do that work. I should not be standing here with a microphone behind that pulpit on a Sunday morning proclaiming the word of God. That's not my job. But I have other responsibilities in the church that won't get done unless a woman does it. And so I'd like to talk about those things, because sometimes we forget all the behind-the-scene things that need to be taken care of and all the things that God gave you a specific gift to do, to take care of it and to get it done. When I look at Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, Scripture shares with us, "Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things." So, we have a challenge from Scripture about our thoughts, right? If I held up a giant white sheet, beautiful linen sheet, in front of every single one of you, and I was like, look what we found. Isn't this beautiful? We could make a dress out of this, and right in the middle of the big, beautiful white linen sheet, there's a blue ink dot. Where would your eyes go? To the spot. We find the imperfections very quickly, don't we? In ourselves, in others. And sometimes we can't help but share them. I stand in front of you embarrassed because I'm the last person who should be standing in front of you talking about this. I can't count how many times my mouth has gotten me in trouble because I said something I shouldn't have said, and it came from a thought that I shouldn't have had. Ouch, and it's embarrassing. But I also come to you saying, if you can learn a lesson from my mistakes, you won't have to walk the same road or carry the same embarrassment. Oftentimes when we talk about folks' skill levels, we'll talk about 4 different types of skill levels. So number 1 in proficiency is a beginner. We were just running the coffee shop for y'all. I don't know if you liked it or not. Okay, I see some nods. Okay. So you got a chance to be at the coffee shop. I had someone there who'd never made coffee before. So she's my beginner. She's just starting to learn a skill, and she requires close supervision. So when someone today asked for a caramel coffee, and she went to pump the vanilla, I need to catch her for a second and say, oh, hold on. Put the caramel on the outside of the cup. Now pump the flavor. Now put in your coffee. She needed the steps because she was a beginner. Curious, when you think about yourself and you do some self-work and you get inside your own head and your own heart, where would you say you are with being true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and good report? Are you a beginner? Did you just get started? Because if you did, don't give up. You have so much time. You have so much potential to do more. And then we move on to intermediate. I know the basics, and I can perform the task with some guidance. So these are the times when I need a little reminder about ways to be true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and good report. Let's talk about it just for a minute. Again, this is tough, because I've been asked questions before where honesty was not easy. But it's important. It's so easy to say, honesty is the best policy. Yeah, but it's going to hurt her feelings really bad. I don't want to do it. I don't want to say it. Can I be honest in love? Can I find the moment when someone can accept that from me? Or can I honestly just leave my mouth shut? Because sometimes that's the best policy. What about something that's just? If you are a woman sitting in this room and you've experienced injustice in your life, you might be like me and love shows like Criminal Minds and 48 Hours because they got to get that guy. I want to see justice so bad. I even love it in the shows that I might watch on television or the research that I might be trying to gather because I want justice. So does the Lord. He's asking us to think about things that are just. Whatsoever things are pure. Where's my head? Where's my heart? Is it thinking about pure thoughts? Am I allowing myself to get carried away with things that probably don't need my attention? If purity comes to your heart and your mind and you can just smile and say, no issues, great. But if you go, think about it. Think about more pure things than what you're spending your time doing today. And then things that are lovely. I talked about that amazing linen sheet that we're holding up and saying, oh, look at all the things we can make. Focus on the big, beautiful things instead of the small errors or dots. See the things that are lovely. I love gossip that talks about positive things. Did you see what she just did? Do you know that young lady that just created her first drink had the most beautiful caramel mocha drink I've ever seen? The colors blended so perfectly. And I want to shout that from the rooftop today. Do you know that we had a young lady who still had to go to driver's training, but she went to driver's training and came right back because she wanted to serve in the cafe today for y'all? How cool is that? Those are the things that we should shout from the rooftops. You praise in public. Always praise in public. Let people know they're amazing. Let them know they have wonderful things that they just added. Sometimes during choir, we stand in this stairwell right here before we come out, and it's this moment of being like, oh my goodness, I love your nail polish. Oh, those glasses are fantastic on you. You changed your hair, I love it. It's all this positivity that says, I love you, and you're worthy of us saying something really positive for a while. We actually had someone come from this side, and they're like, what are you all doing? We're like, look at her lipstick, it's fantastic. It's fun to praise in public. When something happens and you have a situation in your life where you can't praise in public, and you have a quarrel with someone, or a disagreement, or you've been offended, that's private time. And it's between you and that person that caused the harm. That's scriptural. The minute that we try to get somebody else on our side and say, do you know what they just did to me? And the reason we do it is because we don't want to feel alone in that feeling. We want somebody on our team to be like, oh, they shouldn't have done that to you. Hold off. If you take what was said scripturally, you'll go straight to that person and go, I don't know if you meant this or not, or I don't know if we have a problem or not, but I'm kind of getting this vibe from you. Can we talk about it for a minute? Is now a good time to really dig in and say, I felt this way. Did you mean it that way? Do you know what a beautiful place it would be in our churches today if we spent the time going straight to the person that meant to or didn't mean to offend us and fixed it ourselves than to create the problems that could potentially cause a church split someday? We don't want that. We don't want to be women that aren't thinking lovely things and shouting it from the rooftop. We need to fix those things in private. So, praise in public. Talk about those things that are more hurtful in private. That's a great way to spend some time. And that's a great way to show that we're listening to Philippians 4, verse 8. There are times in my life when life happened to me, and I'm like, okay, my work life is hectic. I've got to get this many sales this month. I've got a teammate who doesn't feel very good. I got another teammate who can't get focused, and I know I've got to have 8 sales by the end of the month, and I have 3. And then at home, I have my son's wedding coming up in 2 weeks, and oh yeah, we've got a coffee bar to do, and oh yeah, there's something else going on, and wait a minute, did I remember to take care of that one thing? And I'm sorry, what did you say you needed? What do we need at the grocery store? And all of a sudden, I'm in this place of panic or like, I don't have enough time, I can't get it done. Hold on, it's gonna be okay. Take a minute and think about all the amazing things around you. How can I not be grateful to have these things happening in my life? To have a job in sales, to have a teammate. I'm not doing it all on my own. To have the opportunity to see someone in love in my life that's potentially getting married, and to be blessed with the opportunity to do something fun and exciting for them. To have the money in the bank to go get the groceries that needed to be picked up at Kroger. All these things are just part of life. But if I let myself get overwhelmed, I can be less than charming. And that's really not where I want to sit. I'd prefer that when folks have a conversation with me, they felt like they spent their time well. I had a friend back in Michigan who once said to me, I think about every person I meet as having this little tag on the front of their clothing that says, leave me better than you found me. And that was so challenging to me. And I thought about the fact that every conversation I have with someone, every smile I share, every time I get to send a text to someone that I love, I can be charming and I can be honest and just and a friend. Or I can be the opposite. I choose every day. And as I said, I'm standing in front of you, a very flawed human being. I do not have this all together, but I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot of different things. Once we move past intermediate, we then go to advanced. When I'm advanced, I have a strong grasp of a skill, and I can work independently. Do you know how amazing it is to mentor someone and see the moment where they can step out on their own and they're like, I got this. You go do your thing, Kim. Don't you have somebody else to mentor now? I got this. I can't think of anything better than to see a mentee start to fly and see someone in church say, I can teach that class. I got this. I can handle this. And everyone around you who's been cheering you all along now gets to say your name out loud in public and say how proud they are of you, how amazing the things that you're doing are, how you looked for something, how you look to serve outside of yourself. It's huge. It's such a great accomplishment. And the last step to proficiency is expert. How cool would we be as women if we were experts at being true, honest, just, pure, lovely, and full of good report? I think I'd like to strive for that. I demonstrate full mastery, and I can teach or guide others in this skill. This is the time when someone might say, you know what, I think I'd like to lead a children's choir. You know what, I think I could be a substitute Sunday school teacher. I think I'd like to sit in a class and have you teach me how to do something really cool, like, I don't know, run a coffee shop for a singles conference. I don't know, do you want to do that? I'll teach you. I'm happy to. I'd love to have somebody else be able to learn those things. Curious if Lacey back there would love to teach someone how to use the sound booth. How cool to be able to get a new skill that's needed in our churches today. We're challenged in Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. It says, and whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. I probably missed the part of saying that my dad was a pastor when I was in Michigan. My parents met in Bible college. My dad was from Michigan, my mom was from Illinois, so there was very little chance they were going to meet, except at Bible college. And my parents met at Bible college, got married their senior year. And my dad returned home very close to where he grew up to be a pastor, and he pastored for 42 years at a little country church in Stockbridge, Michigan. And when someone would come to him and say, "Preacher, I really want to do something great for the church," he'd say, "Okay, the toilets need to be cleaned." And they're like, I didn't ask you to clean the toilets. And he said, "Then you're not ready to serve." The biggest job in this church and for this assignment today is probably making sure the toilets are working. How unpleasant would it be if the plumbing was not appropriate in the church today? Hallelujah, right? Has anyone ever had issues in plumbing in your house? It is not pleasant. We're all running for the hills. We're like, somebody's got to fix this as fast as possible. How much money? How much is it going to cost for you to come out here right now and get this fixed? Or a bathroom remodel where suddenly you have a huge family and you're down to just the smallest spaces and trying to get things done and trying to get everybody their showers that they need and everything else. When we first moved here to Collierville, again, I mentioned to you that it was during COVID, you couldn't buy a washing machine because there was a lot of backup from pieces being shipped from overseas. So you'd go to the store and you'd be like, "I want to buy a wash machine and a dryer." And they're like, "Okay, it's going to be 13 weeks. And you're like, "What? I have dirty clothes now." The people that we bought our house from took the washer and dryer, and I'm like, "What am I supposed to do?" So we ordered the washer and dryer. We waited however many weeks it took. You kept asking until you found one that was an acceptable amount of time, but it still was more than a few weeks for us to wait for our washer and dryer. Finally, I had enough. I'm like, "We're going to the laundromat. Everybody throw down your clothes from upstairs." So they're throwing them down from over the side of the railing from the second floor. And my entryway was piled about knee high with all these dirty clothes. And somebody rang the doorbell. My neighbor was coming over for the first time to say hello, and I opened the door and I'm like, "Hey, we're heading to the laundromat today because we can't get a washer and dryer yet." It's so humbling to have things like plumbing that aren't working. And we hung out for a good Saturday at the laundromat and got our clothes clean and dry and folded and returned to home. It's so important, ladies. Cleaning the toilets, not glorious. Need to be done? 100%. How about the trash? We're going to hear from a trash man tomorrow. He's fantastic. He has hilarious stories. And he says, "I'm a trash man." What kind of world would we have if we didn't have trash men in it? It's so important. Those tasks need to be done. And if you're not willing to do menial tasks, the Lord does not have a big task ready for you yet. That's where you start as a beginner. That's where you'll go as a leader if it needs to be done. When God chooses for you to be a leader of people, could be tiny humans, could be senior humans, could be adult humans, could be teenagers. Yay! He's going to ask you to do really hard things. When you jump in and try something new with whoever it is that God has in your life for you to lead, they will respect you because you jumped in. When you're trying to, I have to say this delicately, take care of a senior citizen who needs assistance in their bed when they couldn't make it to where we were talking about a little sooner, that'll humble you pretty quick. Needs to be done. That person needs to be clean and dry. Quickly. Take care of it. Do it. They didn't want that for themselves. They didn't choose that for themselves. It just happens to be where they are. And I have the ability to make sure that you're clean and dry. And I'm going to tuck you back into bed and say good night when I'm finished. And I'm going to walk away from that room and say thank you for my job. I'm also going to say thank you that tomorrow morning I'm going to be behind my desk and not constantly doing this job, because God has called some people to be caregivers. Bless them. And God has called us to be willing to be a caregiver. the first time that we were getting ready to do, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but the very first time that we were saying out loud, hey, everybody, we're going to do a singles conference at this church, I sat back in my pew, and I was like, okay, Lord, what can I do? What do you have for me? Like, what would really be a blessing? And suddenly this idea came to my mind. I wanted to be like the coolest bathroom attendant ever. And I don't know if you remember this or not, Amy. I literally sat in my pew, which we're going to talk about this for a minute. Probably shouldn't have done this during the service, but I'm like, ooh, I need air fresheners, and I need to make sure that there's bobby pins, and sometimes we need a little thing for our teeth because we want to look amazing. And so I had this whole list of things that ladies need in the restroom, just in case. Have you ever been to those the really bougie hotels, and you walk in and you're like, oh, they've got static guard for my dress, here's some little mouthwash to take care of some needs, and I just have everything I need, and I could just hang out in this bathroom all day. And then there's a cool bathroom attendant that's like, I cleaned it just for you, honey, you just come on in. You need anything, you need to sit down for a minute, and you're just like, oh, I love this place so much, do I tip her? And I wanted to be that person. I was like, oh, I would love that so much. I would get to meet, because you have to go to the bathroom when you're at a singles conference, and you're checking your makeup, and you're making sure everything's okay, and I'm like, I totally want to do that. So I made this list, and I was like, all right, this is my job, and I was psyched about it. And I made a list, made some purchases, tried to make it look all cutesy and stuff, which we talked about our creatives. You might have done a better job, but I was all about it. I wanted to give it a try. And then Mrs. Hooker came to me, and she goes, I think we're going to have a coffee shop, and I really think that God gave you the ability to run it. And I'm like, okay. So I had this really cool job in mind, but I was asked to do something else. So which one do you do? And how do you serve? And what kind of an attitude do you have when you've been asked to do something a little different? You say yes. Absolutely. I'm happy to do that. I'm going to figure it out. Do you know how much I enjoy doing the coffee? I don't drink coffee. I'm a water and Pepsi girl. I don't even drink coffee. But I'll make it for you, and I'll try to make sure that you love it. And if you need an extra shot, you just come back and tell me, and we're going to fix that drink for you. And when someone says, I definitely need oat milk, gotcha. We got oat milk, no problem. It's doing whatever it is that God asked you to do, or Mrs. Hooker, and doing it to the best of your ability. You say yes, and then how, right? So let's talk about different practical ways to serve in our churches and in different ministries. I remember being very young in church and thinking, like, if I'm not called into full-time ministry, then I'm probably not living the life that God wants for me. But I'm curious, when you look around the church building on Sunday morning, how many of those people were actually called into full-time ministry? 10% or less of who's in the service, right? So as a Christian, potentially, I'm just guessing 90% of us are not in Christian ministry. In a room, what's my role then? Am I less important than someone who's made a choice or the Lord has called them to ministry in the ministry of the church and in getting things done because that's not my job? Or am I equally as important and have other responsibilities? And so this is what I'd like to challenge you with today. Number one, be faithful. What does faithful even mean? I love it when I have like really deep conversations and people are like, hey, is Wednesday night service actually listed in the Bible somewhere? When the Bible says, if the doors are open, you should be present, what does that mean exactly? I'm not here to answer that question. I just love it when people ask, because being curious is really fun. That's between you and God. You should ask him. Be faithful. My parents will tell you, as pastor and wife for 42 years of the same little country church, the most they ever got their cup full is with the people who showed up. There is nothing like walking in a building and knowing, I've got at least 15 people I can count on being here tonight. And if it happens to be 150, praise the Lord. But I got 15 I can trust. I know they're going to show up. Be faithful. You have no idea what a blessing that is to your pastor and wife. Just show up. Be present. All right, I kind of have to look down because I'm super guilty of this. I just admitted it in front of all of you. Listening actively. Do you know that they actually teach professional classes about how to actively listen? This young lady, Taylor has been tracking me with her eyes this entire time. We are engaged. She's part of this conversation. It's amazing. I feel a connection to you standing up here and getting a chance to chat because she's actively listening. Her eyes are here. She's not texting. She's not checking anything else. She's not shopping on Amazon. I've legit done every single one of those things in church, just so you know. I'm not proud of it, but that's the reason I'm standing in front of you going, I'm learning too, y'all. And one time I did order Bibles for the teenagers that needed it, but then I'm like, they don't know that that's what I'm doing. They have no idea that I saw a need, and I'm like, oh, let me get that ordered real quick because it'll be here by next Sunday and they'll have their Bibles. They didn't know that. They just saw Miss Kim swiping when they were supposed to leave their phones put away. Whoops. Maybe a little note at the corner of the bulletin or something would have been a better idea. But legit, I've done it. So, are you taking notes? There's a few of you that I see you putting your head down. There's notes being taken. That's a little humbling. I don't know that I have a lot of good things to say that are worthy of notes, but bless you for that. That's amazing. And that makes me feel like we're connected through the note-taking. Are you coming to church with a mind that says, I'm willing to do what you are going to tell my heart I need to do? I think sometimes we just show up in church because it's expected. It's what we do on Sunday mornings. It's what I do on Sunday nights. Choir, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be doing this thing. So the question becomes, why are you doing it? Where's your heart? Where's your spirit at? What did you prepare for the service, or did you just show up? What does that look like? Be available. When Mrs. Hooker said, hey, I think we want you to run a coffee shop. And I was like, okay. Availability meant asking for PTO off work, because technically I'm scheduled Monday through Friday and one weekend a month. So it was like, okay, I need to ask for PTO so I can make sure I have the day off, right? So be available. Figure it out. Say yes. Then what? Be willing to try hard things. Learn new things. And then when you've learned them, be willing to teach others, right? It says, I care enough about you to spend some time pouring into you so that you can be successful too, so that you can be blessed more than anything else. Those blessings that come from being able to love on somebody else. Be coachable. That's more of a business term than anything else. But that's someone that says, was there something I could have done a little better? Was there something that I could have said in a different way to bring that point across to the heart? How could that have looked different? Be looking and seeking for opportunities to serve. This is so important, ladies. Sometimes we get comfortable in some spaces. I sit in the same seat in this church on Sunday with my husband. We did the same thing when we were teenagers. Same seat, always, because it's comfortable. It's normal. We're superhuman. We're just showing our humanity is what I'm trying to say. We're not really Superman. Not true. But truly trying to step out of my comfort zone and try something new. So here are some practical needs in our churches. It's like, okay, thanks for standing in front of us for 40 minutes and telling us all sorts of things. That was nice. Now how about we apply it to real life? How about it? Let's do it. We talked about faithful attendance. How about being an encourager? Can you think in your heart right now of someone who looks out for an opportunity to be an encouragement to you? Do you know in your church today, there are probably a handful of people who look at you and they watch you and they want to be like you? What does that do to your spirit? To think that somebody is paying attention. I teach the young ladies Sunday school, teen Sunday school, and I ask them this question, because I did it, and I'm like, am I just weird? Or is this legit like something other people do? And I was like, okay, guys, I totally have a question, because I'm curious if you did it, because I did it when I was younger. I had like 4 favorite ladies in church, and how they were dressed, and how they raised their kids, and how they sat in their pew, and how they interacted with their husbands. I paid attention to those things. I noticed them. And they're like, oh yeah, I totally do that. We have a lady in our church, her name's Mrs. Helmick. This woman has a heart of just pure gold. As best I can tell, I haven't actually seen it, but I'm guessing. She sends cards to people who are struggling. She pays attention when there's a need. She just quietly takes it over. I mentioned that I have the opportunity to teach the teen girls. She teaches the group right before you become teens. Those ladies know that Mrs. Helmick loves them. She wrote them each a handwritten card before they moved on to teen church. They have it in their Bible and they reread it. That's an encourager. That's very much needed in our churches. How about a supporter? I'm just going to show up. I think about in the Old Testament when there was a battle going on and the leader was supposed to keep his hands up in order for the Israelite people to win the battle. And after a while, his arms got a little tired. Who held him up? His supporters. Can you be a supporter for your pastor and pastor's wife? Can you be a supporter for the leaders in your church? Can you hold them up? How about a prayer warrior? I got nothing else. I have no time. My days are full, full, full. Got time to pray? You can be a prayer warrior. You don't have to be some old lady who can't get out of her home to be a prayer warrior. Those are the ones I think of in my head, though, because I know she's praying for me today. You can be a prayer warrior, too. How about someone who's observing a need? Can you look around a room and see that there's a need somewhere? Do you have the ability to fill that need? Do it. Do you need to make sure that no one knows it was you? Okay. Find a tribe. They'll help you get it done. How about networkers? This is kind of cool. Get to know different people and what they do and connect them to somebody that has a need. This is really fun. Find the person in church who's blue collar, who knows how to change a tire. When you just found out that one of the college students has a flat, who do you want to go help you with that tire? Someone that knows what they're doing. Probably don't pick me. I'll encourage you. I'll be like, good job. You are so strong. That was amazing. I loved it. I couldn't do that because I can't. I know how. I know the basics. Fun story, y'all. Okay. So I am probably, 24 years old, really old and like super mature and very wise in this world. And I dropped my kids off for school in the morning. No, I wouldn't have been 24 then. So I was closer to 30. Oh, boy, so smart. So I'm like 30 years old. The alarm comes on in my car that I have a flat tire. Pull over at a safe distance. Do you know that y'all don't have when you pull over on the side of the road here, you'd almost immediately go into the ditch, right? So in the Midwest, there's a shoulder on the road. So when you pull your car off to the side of the road, there's a little more space than getting clipped by those semis that go 75 here. And so I pull my car over and I was like, oh, I have a flat. And I'm like, Philip's my husband just for kicks, so y'all know his name. So Philip's at work. My dad just took the kids to school. My mom's already left for the day. I am by myself to figure this out. I was on my way to work, so a quick call to work that says, hey, I had a flat tire. I'm figuring it out. I'm like, I totally know how to do this. Dad taught me how to do this when I was 16. It was a prerequisite to me driving. I need to know how to change a tire. I'm like, I got this. I pull out the jack. I look at the car for a second, and I actually haven't ever jacked up a car. But I am woman, hear me roar, I'm gonna get this done. I'm totally into it, right? So I'm like, all right, let's do this. I get down on my hands and knees and I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. Everybody knows this is gonna be fantastic. So I'm under there, I find the place, I jack up my car, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, I am good. Also, before you take the tire off the car, you have to actually start the lugs when it's on the ground. Oh, look at you nodding. You know this. So you start to undo the lugs, the lug nuts on the tire when there's less pressure from it being pulled up. So I did that, and I'm like, I am so good. I was so confident. And then I heard a noise, and my car went, hoom. And the jack is still where it's supposed to be. I broke a $790 part on a car that's not supposed to be breakable because I am a woman, hear me roar, and I was going to change that tire on my own. So, lesson learned, I now have AAA, and when I have a flat tire, I call AAA and say, here's where I am, come get me, please. From that day forward, we had AAA, and so does my whole family. So sometimes you can have really good intentions and plan on doing these amazing things all by yourself, and you find out that you need a little help. Look for those opportunities to be that help to somebody else. Don't do what I did. How about specific ministries within our church? There's some fun opportunity within our church to serve, right? How about nursery? You're like, I can't do spit up. Okay, no worries. We got more. Sunday school teaching. How many of you have ever been asked, hey, would you teach a Sunday school class for me? And you're like, I want a life. And you hear stories. We have Brother Wayne who sits in our booth, and I don't even know how long ago it was, maybe 6 weeks. I think preacher goes, hey, Brother Wayne, how long have you been serving in the bus ministry? And he says something like 25 years. And everyone just kind of goes, oh. Can I tell you a secret? When you're asked to teach a Sunday school class, they're not asking you to teach for 25 years. They're asking you to do it now. So the question becomes, could you do it now? You don't have to answer for the next 25 years when someone asks you a question. Could you do it for 6 weeks? Do you know what it would be like for someone that's been serving for 25 years to have a 6-week break? Because a young person said, I've got this really cool lesson that I think the kids would totally love, and I really would love to come in for 6 weeks and teach this. And suddenly that Sunday school teacher gets to sit in Brother Jeff's class and get their cup filled up and get excited about serving again because they're tired. Could you do that? Could you be a substitute for someone like me who once in a while is heading to Michigan to see my mama? My mama's adorable. She's in the coffee shop, y'all. She's got that cool salt and pepper hair. If you see her, she's amazing. Love her. She came to help me with this. So there's an opportunity there. What about choir? What about special music? Teen church, junior church. Do you know that meals don't get put out if somebody doesn't put them out? When we have a potluck, somebody took the time to set up the room and put the chairs up, put paper on the table so it looks nice. Somebody took the time to make sure there was enough plastic forks and spoons and knives and put it out for everyone. That is practical ministry. It just needs to be done. Can you do that? What about supporting the senior saints? Aren't they cool? Oh, they live such great lives. They have amazing stories, and they have more wisdom than I could ever imagine having. How about the singles? You want somebody cool to hang out with? There's a whole bunch of cool people in this room right now. How about college students? What a blessing. Has anyone been at college and received a package from their home church and been like, oh my goodness, they love me? And you send them junk food and gift cards to go to Chick-fil-A, and you give them a gas card so they can fill up their car for the first time and the longest time so they don't have to go on fumes and wonder if they're going to make it to the store next time. Love on those college kids. You know that happens every year, right? It can't be a one and done. They're going back. And then there's another wave and another wave. That's a ministry. How about meals? The coolest thing ever is this app called Meal Train. It lets you say what people need, give an address of where it's needed, and send it to a whole bunch of people in a text. Could you do that? Could you get a meal train ready and say, hey, let's love on this brand new mama. Let's love on this lady that we just found out lost a baby or had a miscarriage. Or this lady who's been a widow for 5 years and she probably could use some support. What about someone who's homebound? We had this amazing couple in our church that sits back here. And this one day they were like, oh, a tree fell on their house. We probably should get some people over there to take care of them. Yep, we will absolutely do that. But what else do they need? Ask the questions, be curious, find out what else can we help with. What about the tasks around the church? Special events, holiday, decor. Where's my creatives? You're on it. I can tell it already. Yard work, cleanup, trash, painting, organization. How about the outreaches, the bus ministries? Have y'all ever done secret prayer partners? I see a few shakes. There's this really cool thing that we did at the church I used to be in, and there's other churches that do it. You know, when we have good ideas, we should probably share them so other people can do them too. So I think I was 18, and the secret prayer partners had been going on for years, but the process of being a secret prayer partner is all the ladies of the church that want to be involved get together, and they have a little party. And during the party, they share names. And for the next year, you pray for the lady whose name you just drew out of the hat or the basket or whatever cute thing the creatives came up with for the plan for that day. Then you take that responsibility of praying for that lady every single day, week, month. It's nice to leave her like a little card for a holiday, find out something special that's gone on, and support them in that way. So I was 18 years old the first time I decided I was going to be in Secret Prayer Partners. Does anyone know what a diva is? Sopranos have a tendency to be divas. I would know, I am one. So I joined the choir, and there's a lady who sings louder than me. And I'm not sure if it's better than me or not, but I don't want to think about it, because I want people to hear me as a diva. Guess whose name I drew out of the hat? Soprano lady. Soprano lady that's louder than me who tells me I did something wrong. And I'm like, I'm reading the notes. You're not. I prayed for her for an entire year, and by the end of the year, I loved that lady. She was cool, actually. She had a really tough life. She had teenagers that were kind of going their own way. She had a husband that worked a blue-collar job and didn't always have work. She worked in a factory. And on Sundays, she got to sing as a soprano and be the loudest soprano in the choir. I'm so happy I got her name, but that day I pulled it out, I almost put it back. I don't want to pray for her. And the Lord taught me a very good lesson, because the next year, I got another one. A lady that I didn't care for. She said it was black. I'm pretty sure it's white. She said no. I'm like, I'm going to find a way to say yes. Come with me. We'll find what she said no about. And within a year, I loved that woman. I saw her very differently. She was really cool, actually. She did all the home repairs at her house. Her husband worked for Dawn Foods, and he used to joke about bringing home the donuts while she's home fixing the door. Cool family. How do you not love that? And I loved that lady after a year of praying for her. And the next year, I got my mama. And a couple years later, my mother-in-law got me. And suddenly I realized that the Lord waited until I was mature enough to handle an easy prayer request by giving me the ones that were a little bit harder. You're not going to get along with every single person that you go to church with, but you better be trying. And as soon as you find that person that rubs you wrong, that you'd rather not spend time with, you need to take it to prayer. Because the one that needs the work is me. That's literally not even in my notes, y'all. I said secret prayer partner, and I'm like, whoa, let's chat a bit. I got one more story for y'all, and then we'll close. It's about setting expectations. There are times in our life that we really want people to praise us. There are times in our life that we really want to be noticed. And then there's my little introverts who are sitting here like, please do not look at me and do not say my name out loud. Lady, I would so much rather be curled up in my room right now reading a book than hanging out anywhere with you. So I was feeling a little, I don't even know what the word is, but like I was feeling a little old. Yeah, there's the word, it's old. I was feeling a little old, and I went shopping. And I realize every single person in this room has different expectations about the clothing that you wear at home. So I'm in no way condoning or saying that you should wear the type of clothing I'm going to describe to you. However, it happened to be the attire that I was wearing for the day. So just a little caveat there. Again, I hope you like me just a little, because I'm not perfect. So I go shopping, and I go to the store called Maurice's. Who loves Maurice's? Yes, here's my girls. And they have these amazing jeans. Oh, I did. I totally said jeans in church. And I put them on, and they've got rips in them, and it's like a capri. And she goes, hold on, I got to get you some booties. And I'm like, what are these booties that we're talking about? And she hands me the cutest little pair of, this was a while back too, but she hands me the cutest little pair of, an olive booty, and it had a camel-colored wedge. So you got a camel wedge, an olive booty, ripped jeans. Now, none of the shirts worked for me. I needed a tunic because I got a little lot going on. And so I'm like, we go to the next store, and I find a tunic, and it is bright pink, and it's got some white in it, too. I put that outfit on, and I felt like $1,000,000. I looked at myself in the mirror. The size of the jeans, I don't know if you've ever done this before, but Maurice's has a certain brand that they're like 2 sizes smaller than what other stores think you wear, and you're like, oh, it looks so good. So I got this outfit. The whole purpose of having this outfit and feeling old is that I am flying to Florida to celebrate Christmas with my family, who's already been there. So my family went without me. I was still working. I needed to complete a whole week of work and make sure that everyone was taken care of before I was allowed to take off and go on this vacation. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I get off the plane in Tampa. I come down the stairs looking cute as can be. And there's my family with Merry Christmas signs, Mom. I just know, I can tell. I can tell this is what's about to happen. I'm sure of it. And I look good. So I'm so sure of myself. I'm so positive of this great experience. I know my family's not going to let me down. I'm ready. So here I go. Get my cute little bag, got my cute clothes on, and I'm walking through, looking at everybody in the eye like, hey. I head down to baggage claim because that's where they're going to pick me up. And I'm like, oh, I look so cute. I can't wait. My girls are going to be like, Mom, I love that outfit. I totally want one like it. I'm like, of course you do, because I'm not old anymore. I shopped at Maurice's. So I get to the door, come down, and there's no signs for me. And I'm like, oh, bummer. They must be running a little behind. Perhaps I should wait upstairs a little longer so they can bring the signs out. But no signs for Kim. So I go to the door and I look, perhaps I can see them. They must be close. No family. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I still look cute. It's fine. Everything's fine. So then after another 15 minutes, I sit down on the little bench outside and I wait for my family. Still look cute. Still look so cute. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. About that time, I decide They're probably not coming with signs. They're not coming to say Merry Christmas. I'm not sure where my family is. This is before Life 360, where I could see exactly where my family was. And then I see my husband's transit van coming around the corner, because who doesn't want a husband that's 45 years old with a cool transit van that can fit all kinds of stuff in the back? And the side door swings open, and I hear him yell from the front seat, "Get in, we're double parked!" And I go, "Okay." And I get in the van. Y'all, that was just a funny way to say sometimes we set ourselves up for being disappointed. That happens all the time. I wanted someone to see me. I wanted to not feel old, but it was not meant to be. Certainly, pride goeth before a fall, and a haughty spirit before destruction. And that was my day to go, okay, that was kind of a funny story. As cute as I looked, as sure as I was of what that day was going to look like, I really set my expectations too high. Know when you're being a servant to others, you're not always going to get the praise and the thank you on this earth. But it is waiting for you. Spending time with others, being a servant, loving the Lord, and doing what is right will pay off in the end. You may not get thanked today. You may not have a whole family shouting Merry Christmas and telling you how cute you look. You may get, hey, get in, we're double parked. But someday, all that work you've done, the energy and the service that you've provided to others will be rewarded. I love you. I appreciate you. I'd love to get to know you more if you want to chat. But thank you so much for being here. Don't be afraid to be a servant. Do hard things and look at what the Lord has for you. It's going to be great.